regards to what we know what happens to animals and for food and fashion. And it's difficult for us to process. It's important to find joy in what you're doing, even when you're out there, you know, fighting on the streets and letting minks out of their cages. It's still important to find the joy so that you don't become burnt out and so that you don't become bitter. And so that's why today, instead of doing a chit chat, we're going to play Canada's Next Top Vegan, which is a little game show that I made up. So I need 3 volunteers from the audience, but wait. They must be brave, they must be fearless, and they must not have any allergies. Or be worried about being embarrassed. Yes, young lady, get up here! What's your name? Tara. Tara! Clap for Tara! Anybody else? Yes, young lady in the back. What is your name? Jillian. What? Jillian! I gotta blow my nose. Clap for Tara! And let's get a dude. Let's get a dude. Yeah, mustache. Yay, Avon. Avon. Okay, so this is a 3-part game show. First we ask skill testing questions. Then we taste test. Then we wrestle to the death. No, we're not wrestling to the death. I'm sorry, we're not wrestling to the death. It's okay. But we are going to do physical feats of vegan strength, because as you know, we do get enough protein. So we are going to start with skill testing questions. These are your squeakers, so I... Alright. So, name the squeaker if you know the answer to the question, but wait until I call on you so that it's fair. Alright, so how many cookbooks has your host, Sarah Kramer, written? Oh.
4.
Oh. Yes, I have written 4. There is a bonus prize if you can name them in the order that they were written.
I don't know how much of a fanboy I am.
Yeah. You will get a Vega 1 nutritional shake.
I think the first one was How It All Began.
How It All Began, yes. Number 2. Garden of Vegan, yes. Number 3.
La Dolce.
La Dolce Vegan, yes. And come on. Vegan. No cheating. That I have a new iPhone app called Go Vegan with Sarah Kramer, available on iTunes, but that's okay. Okay.
I'm not sure of a fanboy.
That's all right. I forgive you. So the next question is, what food can you combine with a bee to make a perfect protein? What? This is Vegan 101, people. Come on.
I'm going to guess lemon.
So you can combine with beans to make a perfect protein, either brown rice, corn, nuts, or wheat. None of you win a prize. Next question. What is the difference between a vegan and a vegetarian? Yes, in the middle.
Vegetarians don't eat meat and vegans don't eat animal parts.
Okay. I would also accept, I'm vegetarian, I just can't give up cheese. Next question. Oh, now we're moving on to some harder nutritional questions, which you're all obviously going to fail. Which has more vitamin C, an orange or a broccoli? Oh, yes. I don't know who is Okay, yes, go ahead. Broccoli, correct. Bonus question. If you had 8 ounces of cow's milk and 8 ounces of broccoli, which has more calcium? Ounce for ounce, he is correct. Broccoli has just as much calcium as cow's milk, yet it's absorbed faster and is cruelty-free. What do you Vega, you can have a Vega Whole Foods Thrive. Vega hooked us up. Let's wait.
Dinner, tofu dinner.
Now, last question. Oh no, second to last question. Name the fastest way to end global warming today. Yes, ma'am.
Go vegan.
Yes! By going vegan, we can eliminate one of the major sources of methane emissions, the greenhouse gas responsible for almost half of the global warming impacting the planet today. Everybody yell, go vegan! Keep going. Okay, last skill testing question. Name 3 foods, oh, you're going to fail this too. Name 3 foods high in iron.
Yeah. Spinach.
Yes.
Kale.
Yes.
Beans.
Kelp, brewer's yeast, molasses, wheat bran, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, wheat germs, sunflower seeds, etc. Excellent. I will be there you go, Whole Food Vibrancy Bar. Okay, we have now come to the part of the game called the lightning round. Oh, I'll take your squeakers so my dog can stop freaking out. One by one, you are to think of a different vegetable. If you can't think of one, you're out. If you repeat a vegetable, you're out. So you just so carrot, bean, etc., etc. But it's lightning round, so you gotta go fast. Ready? We're starting with vegetables. Does everybody understand? Okay, ready? Go.
Broccoli. Carrot.
Kale.
Spinach. Broccoli.
Now you're now out of the game. Not the game, just this portion.
Okay.
Now it's between you two, and we're gonna do fruit. Ready? Go.
Orange.
Apple.
Banana.
Tomato.
Oh. That's so tricky.
Grapes.
Plum.
Lemons.
No.
Sure.
Lemon.
Fruit.
Those are fruits.
Mango. Excellent.
Shoot. Strawberries.
Mandarin.
Blueberries.
Grapefruit.
Blackberries.
Raspberries.
Oh my god. Apples. Did we?
Yeah.
You win the Simply Raw Living Foods Detox Manual courtesy of Rachel
Volunteers.
Are you complaining? Don't worry, there's prizes for everybody. So now we're going to move on to the taste test competition of death. Maybe not death. All right, so we have 3 different items for you to taste and identify correctly. The rules of the game are simple. You are to blindfold yourself with this simple hipster bandana. Then you must enter the isolation chamber, and I will ask each of you to correctly identify different foods. And since you have a very small budget, the isolation chamber will be your fingers. I mean, like, put them in your ear. I will then feed you a food item. I will tap you on the shoulder and ask you to whisper in my ear what you think the food item is. Does everybody understand? Yeah, okay. So blindfold yourselves and then isolation chamber, please. Everybody blinded? Cheating. All right, isolation chamber, please. Stick them in your ears. Put your fingers in your ears so you can't hear me. So I'm going to put this in your mouth and tell me what it is. I guess she should take her fingers out. Tell me if you know what that is. fork?
Nope.
Oh, sorry. Put that in. Tell me if you think you know what that is.
I have no idea.
Do you want to see what it is?
It's not just me.
All right, open.
It's really weird. I was gonna say tofu.
It's tofu.
But that seemed like too obvious an answer.
All right, young man, here I come. I'm coming with a fork. There you go. And there's a little piece of food at the end. Put that in your mouth. There you go. Do you know what that is? Any clue?
It's a sweet fruit. Apple.
Yes! Isn't that amazing what your eyes and your taste buds are, how they're disconnected when you can't see what you're eating? And so, I think a lot of times people think what we eat is crazy or weird, and so, I don't know, I just think it's amazing. Amazing. So no winners.
All losers.
All losers. Way to go. So now, this is my favorite part of the game show. We are moving to physical feats of vegan strength. Because as you know, we're all very weak. We don't eat enough protein. No, I'm just kidding. So now, nobody laughs. We eat more than enough protein. So the first physical feat of vegan strength is to peel these 2 carrots. Sorry, people in the front, it might get a little messy. Whoever can do it first. Yes. So we have a dollar store carrot peeler, which is the worst thing ever made. And so that no one gets hurt, you also have to wear these at the same time. And then you will be a true vegan warrior. There we go. Because I don't want anyone to cut themselves, because these are ridiculous. There you go, sir. Okay. Are you girls? You guys, everybody ready? Ready? On your mark. Get set. Peel. Look at them go. Oh, it's down to the wire. It's down to the wire. It's down to the wire. Oh, Tara's ahead. She's working on her second carrot. Working on her second carrot. Go, Tara. Go, Tara. I think Tara's gonna take it. Why can't boys peel carrots? Tara is the winner! You get this book, Yarn Bombing. So now, do you want these carrots? You guys can keep the oven mitts. You should probably throw out those carrot peelers because it's not very good. Now we have our last feat of vegan strength. We have these lemons. And what you are required to do is to squeeze the lemon. Whoever gets the most juice wins a prize. Are you ready?
How much time do we
No.
have?
Whoever, I don't know how much time. Just go. Go! I haven't worked that part out. What should they win? Whoever gets the most juice will win right around here and get it right, both by Jay Steele from Arsenal Home Press. Oh, no, I forgot to make you wear your ponchos. I'm so sorry. All right, who thinks they have the most juice?
I don't think I have anything else to squeeze.
All right. So what do we got? 1.5 ounces. What do we got? Oh, you're not done. I also forgot to put down paper. Are you ready?
No.
Oh. All right, stop. Let's see what we have. 50. You okay? Oh, nice. Oh, it's gonna be. Oh, you have a little more. Oh, geez, I think you all win. Woohoo! water. Have some water. Oh God. I still have ponchos. Do you want to All right. So I haven't been keeping track or points or anything. So it's up to you guys to decide who you think is the winner. So we have three, Bag of Foods totally hooked me up with these prize packages. So we have, who do you think, I'll hold a hand over who you think should win. So do you think this young man should be the winner of prize number 1? These prizes are for you. Thank you so much. There you go. They are up. Woohoo! Thank you. Thank you. So I still have a shit ton of goodies to give away. So what I'm going to do is, let's open the floor to questions. Does anybody have any questions for me about my books, or about why my hair is so gray, or what kind of problems? Does anybody have any questions about anything that they want to ask? Yes?
Will you come and do talks? Sort of events, information events?
Yeah, I always love to come and do talks. I just need all my costs covered.
Yeah. Where do you live?
I live in Victoria, BC, and I own a small business. I own a little store called Sarah's Place, so it's hard for me to get away. But I love to travel and meet people and do events. And yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Can you just talk a little bit about the process you went through when you started writing your first book and what inspired you to do that and how that came about?
Yeah, how it all began started as a little homemade zine. It was a little 50-page zine that Tanya and I were just a couple of really poor kids and we didn't have any money. And one Christmas she was like, let's make something that we can give to everybody and it won't cost us very much, but we can give to all our friends and family. So we made this little 50-page homemade zine full of our best recipes, and we handed them out to friends and family. And everybody went crazy for it, and they all wanted copies to give to their friends and family. And so I think we printed another 600 copies or something. And then we sold them for $2, and they sold almost right away. And then we made another 1,000, and I started selling them on the internet, which was a brand new baby back then, which is hard to imagine that the internet was new. And so I started to sell them at punk rock shows and on the internet. We sold 1,000 almost right away, and I thought, okay, you can go on to something. So I went to the library, which nobody does anymore, and I got out books on how to write a book proposal. I wrote a cheeky book proposal, and I mailed it off to 6 different Canadian publishers. Arsenal Pulp was who we wanted because they were local and they sort of had the same politics that we did. And so we mailed off all the envelopes, and then Arsenal Pulp's envelope we kissed, put it in the mailbox, and 3 days later they called us and we had a book deal. And now How It All Began, my first book, is the best-selling book they've ever had. It's still on their top 10 bestsellers list, and it's just like this giant snowball that just keeps getting bigger. And then, yeah, and then Garden of Vegan just sort of came out of that, and La Dolce Vegan came out of that, and Vegan A Go-Go, and then this year I realized that there was not a lot of vegan products for iPad users, and so that's why I wanted to create
Why did you decide to open a store in Victoria rather than a vegan restaurant?
That's a good question. Jerry and I talked about it, because I think if I opened a cafe it would be popular, but I love my dog so much, and he's 10, and so my time with him is limited, even though we don't like to talk about that. And so if I open a cafe, I wouldn't be able to spend time with him. I'd be gone probably 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day. And so with the retail store, he can come to work with me and hang out. So for now, I love clothes, and I love stuff. And I'd say probably about 80% of the stuff that I sell in my store is made by people that I know. So it's really great. It's great because I have this, tiny little bit of whatever you call it, fame or notoriety, and people come to my website to see this stuff, and so my friends' products get showcased in a way that they might not be able to. Because if they sell it on Etsy, you kind of get lost in the mix, so I'm able to sort of showcase their products. So it's cool. Yes?
What happened to Tanya?
What happened to Tanya? That's a good question. Tanya moved to Kelowna, and she went to nursing school, and she got married and had kids, and she didn't really like doing demos and talking to people, and she didn't like people coming up and recognizing her in the store and all that kind of stuff. So after Garden of Vegan, she just decided to stop doing it. And it's, you know, it's hard to go into business with your friends, especially if one person has a different work ethic than the other, and there's lots of compromise, and it's always tough working with friends. So, but yeah, she's in Kelowna, and she's a nurse. Yes?
So you have a wonderful reputation for being the positive vegan face. What can you offer us in terms of advice for staying positive?
Well, at a certain point, I think you have to stop looking at pictures and video of torture. Because for me, anyway, I was finding that I have a really sensitive heart. I'm sure almost everybody here does. And at a certain point, I realized that I was doing more damage to my psyche by looking at that stuff. I know what I know now. I don't need to keep revisiting it. It's kind of like torture porn. I find that some people, like, I don't know, I find some people need to watch that stuff all the time in order to stay vegan. For me, once I saw it, I'm done, I'm vegan, that's it. There's no turning back. The curtain is open, I'm never going to close it again. So I think at a certain point you need to focus on what fuels you, what inspires you. And if maybe, you know, doing demos on the street, if you're uncomfortable doing that, then you need to find something else that you're comfortable with. Everybody's on their own path. And so I think it's important to find what excites you, and then focus on that. Does anybody struggle with that? With staying positive? Do you just feel overwhelmed, or?
Well, we had a group today on mental health.
Yeah.
In the cruel world, so we were talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, it can get really depressing. Like you love my family, but sometimes when we're sitting around and they're bowing down, I love my family, but you know, sometimes when I'm having dinner with them and watching them sort of destroy a chicken that has the same body shape as my dog, like it breaks my heart, and also kind of disgusts me, and it's hard. It's hard sometimes to. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I think it's important to just surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, and the people who drag you down. Don't hang out with them. You know, if you're finding that somebody is really bumming you out all the time, or you feel less than because you're spending time with them, then move on. Yes. Oh, sorry. You're next. The gentleman in the back.
I've been vegan for 17 years, and before that I was vegetarian for 5, maybe more. But every day that I haven't eaten meat, I crave it, and the craving's gotten worse over the years. So I'm like a heroin addict who misses heroin. It's that bad. So since we're trying to preach to other people about veganism, for those of us who really crave meat, we can relate to meat eaters. What's your advice for those of us who have terrible, terrible cravings?
Well, I think part of it is probably, I mean, I don't know you, but part of it could probably be emotional. I mean, a lot of times food, there's certain recipes I make of my mom's that really sort of take me back to when I was a kid. And so maybe eating meat for you brings up stuff from your childhood. I don't know, you have to talk to a therapist about that. But food is very emotional, and we're very connected to our family and the kitchen and the dining room table and, you know, all that stuff. So that's something to look at. But also, I had a friend who was pregnant, and she was very vegan. When she got pregnant, she was craving cheese, and she's like, the baby wants cheese, the baby wants cheese. And I said, well, maybe actually your body is missing something. Maybe the baby needs more fat. And so try eating some olives and some other sort of more fatty foods. And she did, and the craving for cheese went away. So maybe you're missing a component in your diet. And it's not really, you're not really craving meat, you're craving something.
To me, I miss the taste.
Yeah.
Everything about it except the cruelty.
Yeah. I don't know. Good luck. Yes.
What would you say about a person, a friend of mine has recently become vegan and is not inclined to go to vegan events.
Right.
Has met ferocious opposition. Family, friends, everyone feeling tells you're going to ruin your health. How can you do that? It's too extreme. You know, you just simply can't do that.
Right.
What would
her question was about negative family members and friends when you first go vegan, and they bombard you if you're not going to be healthy and you're going to die if you're not eating meat. It's none of their business. is my answer. I mean, I know it's really hard. Again, I just go back to just finding people who are supportive, and I think if someone is on you about that stuff and they're not being supportive, it's a choice that you've made. They love you, they obviously care about you, but at a certain point you have to say, like, I'm fine, this is none of my business, I don't want to talk to you about this anymore. Let's talk about something else, like try this, tofu cheesecake, isn't it amazing? Because a lot of times those conversations go nowhere. I don't really argue a lot with people, especially, like, I don't mind having a conversation about my veganness if people are curious, but if somebody wants to get really aggressive with me, they're not listening to what I'm saying. It's a waste of time because they just want to win the conversation, and so I just sort of let them, step aside. Yeah. But it's hard when you're sort of the only vegan in your family, or your family gets really aggressive. It's hard, but that's why we all have each other. I mean, look at this. This is amazing. You guys are amazing. Yes.
Real quick for you, but I have to go to a family function this coming summer that I'm dreading because I am the weirdo. I am the Jehovah's Witness of the family in terms of food. And so it's up on a lake. I thought I would go to a campground on my own.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because I'm not going to find any allies other than my dogs who are vegan.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take them with me just for reinforcement. But is that too extreme to just say, I'll come to the house but I need to leave?
Well, I mean,
or is that going to alienate and make it
might,
weirder?
But, it's up to you. I think everybody needs to draw a line in the sand as to where they're comfortable.
Okay.
If you're not comfortable being in the house and smells like if they're making bacon in the morning or something, and
they're weird.
Yeah. I mean, if that's going to bother you, then yeah, sure. I mean, we go visit friends and stuff, and we stay at a hotel rather than staying at their house. It's whatever you feel comfortable doing. You could also just say that you have sleep issues and you need to just sort of be by yourself. So, you don't have to say to them it's because you are a dirty eater. You could just sort of make it, just be cash about it. Say, I need to meditate, or I don't know.
They've already said, do you want to come? Will it bother you? We're going to be eating meat. And I said, well, will it bother you that I'm going to be eating vegetables?
Well, the other thing that I love to do when I go to big events like that is to bring a bunch of food.
Yeah.
Not just food for myself, but I always cook like double, triple, and it's always the first thing that's gone. Yeah, it's always. I went to, one of our colleagues had a party at his house, and I brought a big pot of chili, and all the meat eaters were just like, this is so good, and who made this? And I was like, I made it. They're like, no, it's vegan. But it was gone. It was gone in no time. So I really believe that you can make positive change in people's minds about who think that vegans are weirdos or that we eat grass. And it's just to feed them. Have a potluck, have them over for dinner. Just, I find it's the fastest way for their little brains to open up and sort of realize that, food is amazing, and good food is amazing, and vegan food is amazing. Yes?
Do your cookbooks have how-to things in their tips on cooking? Like, for example, I don't know when I'm steaming my kale, if I'm steaming all the goodness out of it, or if I go too long or whatever.
Do you know what's funny? I didn't bring any of my books with me. I brought everybody else's books, but mine are, that's funny. The How I Began we wrote, it's sort of like a vegan 101. When we wrote the books, I never really thought of them as cookbooks. They were sort of more lifestyle books that had recipes. So How It All Began is really for people who are newbie vegans. So there's information on, like how to stock your kitchen and what to do with your leather boots and all that kind of stuff. Garden of Vegan is sort of the next step when you're a bit more comfortable in the kitchen. La Dolce Vegan, with La Dolce Vegan, almost all the recipes you can make in under 30 minutes with really easy to find ingredients. And Vegan A Go Go is about this big. And it's sort of a best of book. It has best of recipes from the first 3 books plus 25 new recipes, and then you can put it in your pocket and take it with you. And all those books, they all have sort of stories about my life, my journey as a vegan. I was raised vegetarian, Went vegan in my 20s, and now I'm in my 40s. So it's been a while. But there's also tips in there, and there's like how to do crafts, how to make your own face cream if you want. So there's sort of like a little bit of everything in there. With the app that I just released, we were able to do videos for that. And so I don't know how many videos there are. I think there's 10 videos, 8. I can't remember. But you get to see me in the kitchen talking about different kitchen tips. And so with the app, it's a bit more interactive. So you can hang out with me in the kitchen, and I can show you how to do stuff. Yes.
Just wondering, do you connect with other movements yourself, within the world, and then how important do you think it is to connect with other movements at a time right now where we're having like a lot of global stuff going on?
Yeah, I mean, I used to, a long time ago when I was in high school, I used to do some stuff with PETA, but I moved on from them. And yeah, I have been involved with various groups, but then when I started writing the cookbooks, it's really like all-consuming, so I kind of stopped. What I try and do now for myself is I work on a grassroots level with animal rescue groups. So there's BC Poodle and Small Dog Rescue. We rescued a dog last year. We rehabilitated him and found him a new home. And so I've been sort of doing more hands-on stuff like that. But I think it's important that we all talk to each other for sure. It gets kind of cliquey like high school. It's like, oh, you're in that group, I'm in this group. But yeah, I think it's important that we all talk to each other. That's why the internet's so amazing. But sorry, what was your question? Did I answer it?
Well, kind of. I mean, just about movements in general, like being, the vegan and the philosophy of being a vegan.
I think it's like shoes, right? You have to try on a bunch of shoes before you find the one that fits. And I think groups are like that as well. Not all groups are going to have the same values that you have. You may not want to go smash windows and release puppies, but you may want to do something else. Like, I think you just have to find what you feel comfortable with and what inspires you, and just find like-minded people. And that's why events like this are so great, because you connect with people and you're like, oh, I like that girl, I'm going to hang out with her, and then you guys can go do stuff. And yes.
Have you looked at the issue of companion pets and vegan food?
Yeah, Fergus is a meat eater, and we had a really, we tried him on a veggie diet for a while, because I was really uncomfortable feeding him. I didn't want to feed him cheap, crappy kibble, because I don't eat cheap, crappy kibble. I like to eat whole foods, and so I wanted to feed him whole foods as well. But he didn't do very well on it, and we switched him to raw meat, actually. I have more raw meat in my house than any vegan should. But he's thriving on it. Within a couple of weeks, he had some medical issues, and once we switched him to raw, his coat changed, his eyes got brighter, his energy went up, and so to me it was obvious that what we were feeding him before wasn't working. So it's tough. I mean, I have vegan friends who don't have companion animals, specifically because they feel uncomfortable with having to feed them what they need to eat. But, like cats need to, anyway. Yeah, so it was a hard decision, but he's 10 years old, and everybody still thinks he's a puppy, and so I think he's doing okay. You're welcome. Any other questions? Yes?
Will you ever write a memoir?
Will I ever write a memoir? Oh my God. Actually, I've had that question a lot. Last year I sat down and I tried, but I'm only 43, so maybe later. That's true. Oh yeah, part 2. Yeah. I don't know. That's weird. It makes you feel weird. Yeah. I mean, I in all of the books, in the front of all the books, I sort of write about personal experiences.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Nice to read.
Maybe. I'll work on it. Yes?
I'm just wondering, what would you say is like the biggest passion for you that inspires you, keeps you going, that just like lights you right up?
You guys. I mean, honestly, when we wrote How It All Began 12 years ago, I thought we'd be lucky to maybe sell 1,000 copies. And we sold like 30,000 copies in the first. How great is it that I get to go places and people come over and tell me how the books have changed their life? And yeah, so you guys really inspire me just to keep going, and knowing that you enjoy what I write and that you enjoy the recipes. It's awesome. I mean, all anybody wants in life is validation. And as a creative person, I never really knew what I wanted to do. In my 20s, I was really kind of lost, just sort of wandering around trying to figure out what I wanted to do for a living. Everybody I knew in my family, like my dad, from the time he was a kid, knew he wanted to be an actor, so he was an actor. My brother knew he wanted to be a chef, he was a chef. My husband knew he wanted to tattoo, he tattooed. I was just kind of like, you know, walking around in a haze. And then when I wrote How It All Began, it all just kind of clicked into place. And so now I get to, you know, 12 years later, here I am. I get to travel the world. I go all over the place. I get to meet so many crazy, cool people, and it's like, it's such a great job. It's not even a job. It's a joy. You had a question in the back?
Sort of. I never thought I'd be one of these persons.
Sorry?
I never thought I'd say this because I feel like I'm at a talk show. Like yours was the first vegan book that I bought, and I started becoming vegan 15 years ago. Prior to that, I had been vegetarian for a long time. And when I told my family that I was going to go to vegan, my mother was like going crazy. So we went to a bookstore and found a bookstore.
Did she make you rip off the cover because we were tattooed?
No, she kind of ignored that. She just wanted to have recipes that she could make if I came over.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, I guess so.
No, I mean,
but this brings me to my question.
Yes.
Is when you obviously make food when you go to visit your family or non-vegan friends or relatives. Recently, I did the same thing, and they were hurt because I wasn't eating their food, but they were eating mine, and I didn't know. Their anger kind of came out, but I knew that they were hurt because they were trying to be generous, and I was refusing. They took it as me refusing their generosity, and I just wondered how you have dealt with that.
Well, I do. My best friend's brother, he's very aggressive with me. He's a French chef. And he's very aggressive with me, and every time I see him, he's like, "Oh, you're the Hezbollah of French cooking." Like he gets really in my face. I ignore him because we have a saying in the Kramer family: "Don't feed the bears. If you feed the bears, they come back for more food." Right? So you just gotta shut it off. But I think for those, that's sad. That makes me so sad. I guess what you could do is,
But they had a point. They did have a point because they were being like, "Here, we eat your food. Why don't you eat our food?"
Yeah.
I understood that, but I can't eat or I don't want to eat your food.
Well, I guess what you could do is you could say to them, you know, I want to eat your food, so let's see which recipes we can veganize. You know, like, okay, you make, you know, I love your grandma's mashed potatoes. What can we do to make sure that it's vegan so that we can eat it? And maybe they'll discover new ingredients, and maybe they'll discover that they actually like it better, vegan, or you know. I mean, most recipes, except for obviously like a steak or something, can be veganized. And that's kind of fun too, to spend time with non-vegans in the kitchen. You get to show them different ingredients, like, oh my God, you use butter, I use Earth Balance. Look at how great this is, and that's what. Does anybody have any?